Hey guys, we are left with couple of very interesting episodes right now where we are going to see how to actually send messages. Where right now, whatever you see is that we have managed to get the message synced for the chat rooms, and it's even available to be seen on multiple devices. So now, whatever we need to do are a couple of interesting things. One is that we send and receive messages at both ends using WebSocket and HTTP. Sending is going to happen through HTTP, and the propagation of that message is going to happen through the WebSocket. After that, we are going to see those interesting part where you will be able to see the typing users, whoever is typing at one end, to be visible even in the chat list. You can actually see the members typing in your chat list itself. Also, if you go to a specific chat room, you are also going to see that users typing, so even propagating in real time. Those are a couple of things that we are going to target in these two or three, maybe 2 3 episodes before I conclude the episodes for this week. So let's get started with that. It's going to be very interesting, right? Let's see. So this is my two screens right now, logged in as two different users, and we don't have anything right now where I can just type something, but I can't send it. It's available in the stream, but then if I send it, it's just lost in that stream itself because there is no binding as such right now towards the interactor. So let's see what we have. We have the chat room view controller where I just have it like this, but I don't need it over here. I need to send it to the presenter. Subscription is only happening over here, message send. So I'm going to get rid of that. We don't need this. Whatever we need is, first thing, let's bind the, let's bring it to the presenter. So I'm going to include an input to the chat room messaging side. I'm going to say send, this is going to be text. So I'm going to just say send text. And it's going to be a driver of string because whatever I'm sending is a string value. And that's going to ask me to include that over here. So send text going to be self dot the send, what is the name that you are given. Control composer view is the view. Composer view has a text property, send text property, message send property, and I'm just going to translate that into a driver. I guess that will be enough. Yeah, so now it's available in your presenter, and all that now we have to do is to drive it from the process section. So I can just say send self dot input dot send text is available. I just need to map and send it right now. So I have the text to be sent. It needs to go first to the HTTP. After that success, we'll send it through the WebSocket. I could have done both the HTTP and the WebSocket side on the server side itself, but then I could only manage to do it currently with the HTTP response coming back and then sending a socket request for propagation. So that's how it's going to work in this current episode. Maybe I'll refactor it at a later point where I might just move whole of that sending from the WebSocket happening on the HTTP side if it is possible. I don't know for sure. So I'm just going to keep this like this. Drive and dispose. So we are going to receive the message over here. Now our job is to send it across to the HTTP side right now. So I'm going to include that HTTP function. We already have the chat room HTTP router where message HTTP router is there. I'm going to include the case called, like a send text is the case I have added. Yeah, it is send text with the message object. Send text using message. So we need an import of models. Okay, so that's included. Send text. Now I need to add that case. Send text. I don't need any of these. I don't need the message over here. I just need the send text, and it's going to be chat rooms. That's my path on the server side. Oh, I actually need the chat room ID for sending. So maybe then I'll use because my route is expecting me to have the chat room. So I'm just gonna say message. So message is already carrying the chat room ID, and I'm just gonna say text. So that's my endpoint. That's the endpoint to which I am sending the message, and this is going to be a post request. Send message. At least I don't need it over here. Return post. And then header is going to remain the same. Whatever header interception is going to happen through the JWT access token interceptor, which actually includes those tokens for sending, which will have the user information. But I also will need the body to be available here, because this is going to be something which needs a body. So I'm going to have to include switch. Case is going to be self. First, I can just say default can return nil, but at least the one like send chat needs to have the model which I'm going to send message. I'm just going to say return try message dot JSON data. That should be enough. So this is going to send the message body in the JSON format to the server. So this should be enough. So that's my server side send text. Now I need to include it over the service, chat room service. I'm gonna have to use this one. Go to my message API, include send text. Using message, and a response is going to be, let me validate once. It's going to be message API. Response is going to return a message itself, single message. So I'm going to receive that message back. So I need to implement this send text, and all that I need to do is to call the router function dot send text using the message, and then the obvious things to do over here, which is the request using HTTP service, and then get the response JSON back. All that I need to then do is to call the parse function, response parser dot parse throwable. That's enough. And finally do a as single. So this is going to send a response in the message single message format itself. Pretty simple, right? The parsing part, that's also taken care right now. So we have the service available and it's already consumed by the interactor. So all that we need to now do is to include even that in the interactor side. Function send text. I'm just keeping it as send text because later we might have send files, send videos, and audio, different kinds of things, and segregation might happen based on model is the same, going to be mostly the same. I might just modify it based on type, maybe at that point maybe refactor it. So I'm going to say send using message string, and this at least is going to only return a void because we don't need to send back anything to the view side, because every propagation is going to happen again through this messages relay. So I don't need to do anything over there. So I'm going to say return.self.message service dot send text using the did I keep it as send using message, and then I can just map that result. Whatever I get, I can maybe send it across through this relay. So all that I need to do is to receive the existing value. Is that how I have done? Because I might also get a signal through the WebSocket as well. So do I can just even ignore this one. Let me just check. Sending, receiving the message. Actually, I'm sending it through. Okay, fine, cool. This makes sense. So I'm not gonna map. I'm just gonna keep it like this. I'm just going to keep a map over here and received the created message, and then I can just return an empty one. Before that, maybe I print the response. Message created equals message. So that's enough. So this is my creation part, and I can directly go and at least I can start including this in the presenter right now, because at least functionality wise, whatever needs to happen on the presenter will not have any kind of impact over, even if I'm just including it there. But any use case changes is going to happen over here in the interactor. Let's say once the WebSocket is going to get integrated, I don't need to worry about what is happening on the UI side, which is more the presenter side and not routing side and all. But if a WebSocket gets introduced over here, it's more or less is going to be on the interactor side. So I don't need to worry about what changes are going to happen on the view side. So I'm directly going to introduce this over there. Like that's a kind of separation we get from following some of the architectures like these MVVM, MVP, or even VIPER, because we don't need to worry actually about what is going on the use case side. Business logic can happen on its own. We just need to worry about writing the layering properly. So this is my send text function, and it's going to accept a message. I think message construction can happen over here. That's fine. Message and single word is the response. And okay, we need to include it. Send text, message interactor, send text. That's done. So now let's go back to our the presenter. Where is my presenter? It's just add to messages, presenter, and I already have this signal received for send text, which is carrying that text message. All that I now need to do is to transform this into a message object. So let's see what all things I need to create a message. I don't have anything exposed yet, so let's create the message modifications so that I have a init for that. All that I need is the chat room ID and the content for sending, I guess. So if I go to my message, what does message need? It needs a sender and content, chat room ID. Creation is going to happen on the server side. Updation also going to happen on the server side. ID is also going to get generated on the server side. So maybe it's a good idea that I keep it optional, because these are going to get created on the server. So I'm just keeping it as where all these are optional, because I don't need to send any of these. Also while receiving, if it does not carry any kind of values, I can ignore them. Plus chat room ID is I'm just keeping it as optional over here. Content is anywhere needed for a message. Sender obviously is needed. What is the kind of message? We can always pinpoint to that specific message kind. Status is also going to get set on the server. So maybe I can just modify. I'm going to keep everything optional so that I can just build whatever I need to be sent on to the server. So I'm going to include one more init. I'm going to say, I'm going to init it using the chat room ID string and also the content to be sent. Self dot chat room ID equals chat room ID self dot content would be content. Need two parameters. That is compiling. It's giving me an error. So we might have to just modify some of the things because we already have some things as optionals which were not optional. I'm just modifying them to optionals. This is fine now. And also return to initializer, I guess some more properties. These are let ones, so maybe have to change it to const. Whatever is let, everything is var right now, so it requires no values for initialization. It's a safer side. I'm just keeping everything var, so that should be all fine now. Everywhere it's going to give me this propagating the changes. Wherever it was not nil, it's asking me to include it as nil. So self.sender, if there is no sender, maybe I can. There is obviously going to be sender, just that I'm just keeping some empty value if it is not there, but it's not going to happen anyway. Initting with a nil is also fine, chatroom ID and everything, because it might get those values at later point. So initially it can become nil. So this is compiling now, fine. So the next question is that enough to actually send this across as a new chat? So this is my chat. All that I need is the chat, who's the sender, and the sender information anyway we don't need to send because token is carrying that. So if I am sending, if my request goes through, it carries that header which has the token, so I can pick up that user information on the server itself using that token when it's parsing. That's the reason I just have the chatroom ID as one parameter and the other one being the content which I need to carry. So that's the reason I'm just going to create it like this, where I'm going to pass the chatroom ID, which is obviously there with the dependencies. So I'm just going to say chatroom dependencies is already having it. So I'm going to say chatroom ID is going to be dependencies. Why is it not giving me okay, the same thing. Like, I think I can just grab this. This is my chatroom ID, and content is going to be this text itself. So I can maybe even remove it and say $0. This is optional. I'm not going to send anything which is empty for sure. So even I can just say if let create this, but then I know that it's going to have a chatroom ID for sure. Still, I'm just keeping a safe option here. So even if it, let's say, fails, it's going to say chatroom missing from the server. I might just get a error saying chatroom ID is missing or something. So this is my message, and then I can now do a flat map. For flat mapping, I might need to convert this as an observable. Now I can flat map. And I have the use case dot input dot send message, and send message is going to accept a message which we are already creating over here. I think should not be a problem. Yeah, as expected, it's not giving me any kind of problem. I'm just gonna drive it with nothing if there is. So send next can come back with an error which we might have to handle over here. So it's better that I do it something like this so that I can do the error handling over here itself. If send fails or something, then I need to handle it over here instead of here, because if I handle it over here, this whole send text part will be disposed of, and then I'll not be able to send any kind of messages post that. So this catch error can happen over here. Error and single trait of void, single void return nothing. Return dot. I don't know, there is some kind of error or it's fine. Guess it's fine. That's enough. So that's my HTTP send part happening on the presenter side. It's not actually the HTTP send part. It's actually the use case part where I'm just consuming this function, but internally it's going to do more than one thing. It's going to send to the HTTP server, get a response, and then after that it's going to send it to the WebSocket server, and then we start getting those response back. So let's test this one. First thing, we won't be getting any response on the other side, like whoever is subscribed to WebSocket, because we don't have that connection yet. But at least let's test this part where we are going to send, and let's see whether you receive something over here. So this guy is the one who's sending it. Testing new send using HTTP. Tap on it. Yeah, we get something back. So we are getting all the information, like who's the creator. Venki is the one who had logged in, and why is it Gmail? I guess I logged in using Gmail. It's a text message that is being identified on the server side, because we are, at least while creation, we are sending it as a text object, that message object. It's in a sent state, and this is the message: testing new send using HTTP. Chatroom ID, I said we are sending. This is the created date, updated and created date, which is again created on the server side. And ID is this one, which is also generated on the server side. And these are nil because these are specific for file objects. So we at least have the message sent successful right now, but you are not going to see it over here. Only when you maybe sync it the next time, you're gonna see it. What's up, guys? Where is it? I think I was in the IPL. Which chat room was it? I don't know where it went. It's at the top right now. So maybe the sorting is gone for a toss. So it should be in the descending order. The sorting should be in the sorting is in the wrong order. That's why all the messages are in the at the top. So maybe I can change the sorting algorithm. It should be in the descending. I guess it's kept as greater than. It should be less than. So let's see now. Pretty interesting stuff. Testing new HTTP. Okay, I'm gonna send one. Sending one more HTTP. Sent. You're not going to see it. You have to go again back to this chat thread, and then you can see it. Even the same thing is going to happen. What's up, guys? IPL chat room. Which is this chat room? And okay, this needs a rerun because it's still running the old build. So I'm gonna do a rerun. This is fine. English Premier works nice. Am I navigating to the wrong thread? This is English Premier. English Premier. Sending one more HTTP. So this is consistent now. In both sides, you are actually seeing it, but it's not real time. So that's what we need to now do. We have sent it, but then we are not propagated it through the WebSocket. So we need to do that. For that, let's go to our WebSocket server. It's very simple right now because WebSocket server already has something where we are creating and accepting and notifying a chat room. A similar thing is what we need to do. This is like the subscription part. But if you are going to the creation part, I'm going to do it over here because this is where we are notifying a create chat room. I don't think I think I need to rename this. I'm going to rename this to create chat room itself. I don't need that notify. notify looks like it's like a callback or something, so maybe it's a better naming convention is, I'm just saying create chat room from the WebSocket. So it's going to emit that signal. Now that's fine. So let's create one more function for send text. Create chat room is done. Function send text for using message. Send text using message, and it's going to return empty, single void. You might have picked up why, because when we do that flat map over there in the interactor, it needs a single void. So I'm going to include this one, send text, that's included. And we have in the last episode, if you had seen, then I have modified this. I told I'm not going to do any more of this return single dot create. I'm not going to do any more of that single. Instead, I'm gonna just use this create single and then pass the block. But there is something more we might have to do, because this is more like a catchable block, so it's also going to throw an error. So I might just have to modify whatever I did for this create single. I'm gonna also create something more over here, one more function, static, maybe function. I'm gonna say create throwable, means it's like a throwable function, accepting t and then accepting a block at the rate escaping, and it's accepting a throws block, throws t. It's a throws block instead of a regular block, and it's also going to return an observable t. So the difference here being it's going to be working like this: observable t dot create, and whatever had to happen, that do catch block, we are going to do it over here. Disposable, so obviously it's going to return this disposables dot create. That part is still remaining like this, but then when you access the block, you cannot just do this observer dot on next. You cannot just pass block and access that function. It's a try block. So once you add a try, it's going to ask to add a do and all that. So you need to maybe add then do catch, and then have this like this. So keep it within a do catch block. So do on next happens here, and then I can say observer on completed. But if there is an error, I'm just gonna say on error. I'm just gonna pass that error through this one. So this is the difference between the first function and second. This is more like a throwable function. So I'm just saying create throwable, which can handle do on error and all that. On like if there is a do catch, you are just passing that through this on error. So similarly, we can, I think this was not made static. One more function called create throwable of the single as well. It's a block again, same block, escaping. Again, it's going to be a throws block. Returning a single t. Then I can just call this observable function itself, t dot create throwable. Just pass this block and make it as a single. That's enough. It needs to be a static function. That's taken care. Now let's come back here. So instead of this, because let's say this parsing is going to be with the do catch, that's how we had been parsing it. So we might have to create a throwable single of void. It says void single. It's going to be a message. It's a void single because in end of it, it's going to simply send a void object. And I'm just saying create throwable, and I'm just passing that block. So this is my block which is going to get returned. What is the element? I need to specify void. That's enough. Now it's easy peasy. Like I can just say this is my message, let data equal to try message. I'm just parsing. Before sending, I need to send this message as a JSON data. So this try is happening. So because we already have the catch within this create throwable, it's allowing me to do it, and I've ended up creating a data. And all that can do now is self.socket.emit this object, which is the data. Sorry, I need to have the chat socket dot request dot. I now need to create something for the text. I can just say let text equals text. So we can always verify on the server what is the key which we have defined. So let me go to the on. What is that I receive it on? So it is a text, and after success it's coming through the new text. So it's just propagation. So response, I'm also gonna keep static let new text is what will be the response. So I can just modify this. This is going to be on text. That emit is going to be on text, and all that I need to do is to just pass the data. Emit is also taken care. Nothing more. I don't need to call all of the single success and all. It's all taken care internally within this create throwable. If you see, create throwable already has the on next. That block is accessed. Whatever is the response, it's going to send it through on next. In this case, this is the block. So data is what is getting created, and I'm just calling this. I'm just sending a void. So that void call is anyway going to happen after this closures job is done. So this is taken care. Now it should actually send a signal. The reception part we need to now include. So we have the self.socket on. You're going to get something similar to this self.socket on. It's going to be this handler, not this, on chat room on event and the callback. Which one should I use? I guess this one. On event, which is the chat socket dot response new text is what I should receive through this. I'm keeping a callback, which is going to be an data array and socket acknowledgement. So that's it. Now I should be able to get the data, the leaflet. It's going to be the first object, similar to however we did it for chat room creation. Data arrays of first is going to be a data. Once I have it, I am gonna accept it through the same socket relay response. So I'm going to include socket relay response, because again, similar to chat room, we need to send it through something. So it's always going to happen through this something itself, like socket response relay, if we can see it. Where is socket response relay is accepting a chat room WebSocket.response as a type. So we have logged in, notify, and we can now add a, what is that I have defined? Let me check. Socket response. It's going to be notify text. Notify text. And I'm just going to grab that message object which will be received. So this is what I'm going to use to receive that message. So including that right now. Do I have the data? I'm just going to say message is what my data is. I'm going to say try message dot init using the data. It's already a throw, so it should not be a problem. So we need to keep it within a do try block. So starting from here itself, do catch. This already has a try, so because we have a try right now, we need to keep it here. And on error, maybe we can just print that there is a problem similar to this. So create message. Okay, create message, send. Okay, maybe send message through WebSocket failed, because anyway we'll get to know what the error is. This is more like a corrupted message or something, which once we tried to parse it, we did not get it. So that's my message. Now I can easily send it through the socket socket response relay. I can just say accept. It's going to accept a response type which is notified text, and I already have the message received. That's also done. So once I receive it, I can propagate it through this relay, which is nothing but a behavior relay, which is kept at the top. It's a publish relay. We don't need to keep replaying the last value, so that's why it's a publish relay. And its response, socket response, is received through the observable, which is created out of this response relay. So now who is the consumer? Messages. This message need not be consumed by let's see who can consume it, because whoever needs it is I think the message interactor itself has to take care of that. Let's go back. Message interactor is actually accepting all the messages, so this is the best place, because we need messages received over here, but then for that we need to set an observable. So first thing, even before that, we need to send this. So on the creation using HTTP, this is the interactor. Let's see. I think this send messages was already let's go to the interactor, I guess. Okay, this is interactor. This is a perfect place. So we receive the message over here. Instead of doing all these, we need to now accept the WebSocket API. WebSocket service, which is going to be the messaging. What is the name we gave? WebSocket service. It's going to be the chat room. Send text is coming under. I think I need to rename it, because I think I need one more protocol for that. Yeah, I needed a message WebSocket API. Okay, so let's create that public protocol. Message WebSocket API, because multiple things can happen through this, and it should be public. And let's implement it within an extension. I'm going to create an extension, chat room WebSocket service, message WebSocket API needs an implementation. It's already there, this function. I'm just moving it within this. So we might have to also move that function from here to here. So it's part of message WebSocket API. This is what is going to be the consumption part here. So let's go to the message interactor and include this one. We might need a reference to it. WebSocket service is WebSocket service, and now we need to include it over here. We already know what needs to be passed to it, which is the WebSocket service. That's done. So we are very much closer to propagating that message to the other layer. It's received over here. I can do, because I know that a flat map will work. I can just do this return basic. Let's do with the all of that together first, and then reformat WebSocket survey. Return WebSocket service dot send text is going to accept a message. Enough. So send text unexpected in non-return value. What is it? It's anyway returning a single void. So what is the problem? Okay, this has to be flat map. So map was just not expecting any observable to be returned. So now this is fine. Let's get rid of one thing at a time. I don't need the message. $0 becomes the parameter. Again, that will be fine. I don't need the return. That is also fine. This is the way I'm gonna show the refactoring. Now let's get rid of these. Then at that point I won't need any of this. Then I can just point the function directly, because it knows what is the parameter to be accepted. So sending is done. Sending to the server is taken care. Now it's receiving part, which we need to include. We need to include a function over here which can handle the observable response. So private function setup observables, and I can access it through how do I get it? So for WebSocket, let's go to the WebSocket. It's the observables are coming through this socket response, so we also need to pass this as a parameter, and this. So this becomes, we don't need to modify anything because already that WebSocket is implementing. It's only change I did is that because I need to listen to the changes, I need the WebSocket service, which is implemented by WebSocket Response API. So along with the message WebSocket API, I included WebSocket Response API. Now it's easy. So self.WebSocket service is having the WebSocket response. I can just do a filter on it and see what is the response, and if the response is going to be guard case is going to be notify text, I'm happy with it. Else I'm just gonna ignore it. That's false. I don't need that response. And then I can just say return true if this is the case. Like if notified text is what I'm getting, then I'm happy. I can accept it. Then I can always map that. Map. So again, the response map is going to be different. It's going to return a message, and if it is, and I can get that message through this one, let message. This is what we had defined as an enum for the, if you go back, this is what we defined it within the chat room WebSocket response. Notify text, if you receive a message, that message is coming through this. So this is my message, notify text, I receive it, I get the text right now, and now I can manipulate it any ways I want. I have the text available. I'm now going to say map, and I'm just going to add it to, we already have an array created. Messages relay is carrying that set. So all that I can do now is to dot value is already set. I can I can just append it. Or I can just say plus this new message received, which is $0. Okay, we know that it's not going to be empty because we have done all the good work over there, and this needs a reference. In that's my chat room interactor. Message interactor is accepting it. Okay, that's my text message. It's not going to be empty, so I can accept it within a set again, so that it convert it back into a set. And then the next step is to actually accept it within the message relay dot accept. This accept receives a message, so that's it. Now I can just say observe subscribe because it's an observable, and then I can do a dispose on it. I don't think I have a bag which we need to create right now. So let's create a bag. Private let bag equals dispose bag. So this is always listening to new message changes, and if it comes through this notified text, it's going to accept it and then translate that into a new array, or maybe append to the existing array and then sending it as a overall new signal. So this is done. I guess now everything should start working automatically because I have combined it end to end, even the signaling. As soon as something is received through this messages relay, which is actually a messages within interactor, this messages is already passed to our chat room messenger. Like if you go here within the output of the use cases, this is what we are already receiving. So once a new message comes through, this WebSocket is going to send it, and in the other end whoever is subscribed to the WebSocket is going to receive it through this, and then it's going to automatically happen and then send that message through. So let's check. I think the magic is surprisingly going to happen right away. Both the ends is going to receive it. So I'm just opening. I'm going to even run the new changes in both the devices. This is Max Pro and this one as well. So let's send something through the IPL chat room, because 7:15 we are going to have a a Delhi versus Punjab playing tonight, guys. I'm just going to send that message. Let's see whether I receive it over here. I did not receive anything, and maybe I did not call that function yet. So let's go back. Presenter, or something is wrong at some place. Or also I need to see new messages received, but it's not propagated back. So new message received. This is my WebSocket. So WebSocket has received it, and let's see whether it sent it across to the other side. So that side is subscription is happening wherever the receive has to happen. I don't think I have any code there. Or let's see whether there was an error. Go to my chatroom web service, and where is the subscription happening? It is happening over here. So we need to see whether it's coming over here or not. Did you send? It's coming over there and then failing. Let's see. It did not fail. It received it through the WebSocket also. Did you send? It's received, and then we are accepting it through this notified text. And what is happening over there? Did I write a wrong code in the interactor? Let's see that. I did not call this function at all. That's the reason. Now it should work. I did not subscribe at all. So init, I'm just calling it within the init right now. Now it should work. Hopefully. Let's give a second try. Not this device. Testing new HTTP send is the last message. Did you send? Yes, I did. Let's see. Did you send? What is the last message? I think the navigation has an issue. It's showing, okay, this is English Premier League. I'm going to the IPL chat room. It's taking me to English Premier League. There's looks like there is a small problem over there. Whatever is being accepted over here, but it's showing the other way around. Let's see. I guess it's showing for English Premier League. I guess I need to see that. At least let's check this one. Is the match on today? Yeah. Some things are working. Yes, I'm receiving. Yes, bro, it's happening. This guy also received. So this message sending is perfect. Only thing I need to see is why this has gone for a toss. Chat room seems to be fine, but then whatever I received it here is like gone for a toss. All looks good. Let's hope so. Yep. Timestamp is 22. Just now. Yeah, bro. It's gonna even work for 3 users. So that's for sure. So this is now working. Whatever we are sending is received through the WebSocket. So creation is happening, sending it to the HTTP. HTTP sends back the new message, which I'm propagating it through the WebSockets. So this send and receive part is done. Now it's going to be the very interesting part where if I start something over here, let's say, you're going to see that notification in that same channel, in that same group being propagated. Like a typing user is going to be seen over here. That's what we're going to implement in the next episode. And so I'm taking a break, coming back soon for that.